You might never meet them in person, but we spend more time with some sitcom stars than we do with our real-life friends. That's what makes it so affecting when those actors pass away.
For 11 seasons, John Mahoney played Martin Crane on Frasier, a role that brought him 2 Emmy nominations.
The man can do things with eels you just wouldn't believe.
I arrested a guy for that once.
Sadly, Mahoney died in 2018 at age 77, with TMZ later revealing the cause of death to be lung cancer, brain disease, and seizures. In an interview with Fox News shortly before his death, Mahoney candidly discussed overcoming cancer twice previously. He explained, "I just absolutely refused to be beaten by it." Mahoney gravitated toward acting fairly late in life after immigrating to the US from his native England at age 19. He spent years working as an English teacher and then as associate editor of a medical journal before pursuing his passion for theater. He said, "I just felt I had to try acting one more time. And if I fail, I fail. But if I don't, maybe I can find some sort of happiness and fulfillment in life." Ultimately, Mahoney joined Chicago's famed Steppenwolf Theater Company, which led to roles in such films as Moonstruck, Say Anything, and In the Line of Fire, to name just a few. Martin Crane's dog, Eddie, became one of television's most popular canine characters.
You know why you're here, don't you? Well, now listen, it's for your own good. Believe me, you'll be much happier afterwards.
Eddie was played by Moose, a Jack Russell Terrier who passed away at the old age of 16 in 2006. In addition to playing Eddie, Moose has also played the titular dog in the movie My Dog Skip. According to the New York Post, Moose retired midway through the course of Frasier and was replaced by his own son, Enzo. Like his dad, Enzo lived until age 16, dying in 2010. Funny enough, Moose wasn't particularly fond of his on-screen owner. Mahoney said of his canine co-star in an interview with Fox News, "He bit me twice." However, he conceded that on the whole, he and Moose got along in the end. He joked, "He was a temperamental actor as far as I'm concerned." Frasier attracted some A-list guest stars during its run. Among these was Oscar nominee Bob Hoskins, who played Frasier's abusive high school gym teacher in a series of flashbacks to his school days.
Come on, Crane! Nobody is going home until you haul that fat bucket of lard to the top!
I can't.
Just over a decade after he guest starred in that 2003 episode, Hoskins died at age 71. His wife and children said in a statement, "Bob died peacefully at hospital last night, surrounded by family, following a bout of pneumonia." Hoskins' role on Frasier was one small piece of an impressive acting career, beginning on British television in the early 1970s. Hoskins caught Hollywood's attention thanks to standout performances in the 1978 British TV miniseries Pennies from Heaven, which was followed by starring roles in the films The Long Good Friday and Mona Lisa, the later earning Hoskins his first and only Oscar nomination. Hoskins went on to even bigger fame in numerous Hollywood productions, but will always be best remembered for playing Toontown P.I. Eddie Valiant in Disney's blend of live action and animation, Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Robert Loggia was already an established Hollywood star when he guest starred in a 2000 episode of Frasier playing Stefano, owner of an Italian restaurant whose gruff and terrifying demeanor once left Niles suffering PTSD as a child. When Frasier learns he'll be honored by having a caricature of himself hanging on the restaurant's wall, Niles is still so scarred decades later that he refuses to step foot inside the eatery.
And who's this gentleman? Looks familiar to me.
Oh, this is my brother Niles.
Ah, of course. You have the family foreign, huh? Come on.
Loggia died in 2015 at age 85, leaving behind a film and TV legacy that almost any actor would be envious of. Loggia was a frequent television guest star throughout the 1960s and 1970s, breaking out into film with a supporting role in 1982's An Officer and a Gentleman. His high-profile turn as the Miami mob boss deposed by Al Pacino's Tony Montana in 1983's Scarface led to further big-screen work, including such films as Prizzy's Honor, Jagged Edge, and Big, in which he's shown as the toy company owner who hires Tom Hanks' boy-in-a-man's-body character. Who can forget the iconic scene when he dances with Hanks on the toy store's giant piano keys? Other notable roles include a multi-episode arc on The Sopranos in which he plays Feech LaManna, an old capo who butts heads with Tony one too many times. In a 1990 interview with the New York Times, Loggia explained his career longevity. He revealed, "I am a character actor in that I play many different roles, and I'm virtually unrecognizable from one role to another, so I never wear out my welcome." Rene Auberjonois had already developed a well-established career as a character actor when he guest starred on Frasier. First seen in the series' 8th season, Auberjonois portrayed Frasier's Harvard professor, Dr. William Tewksbury. When Frasier is set to receive a Lifetime Achievement Award, he takes offense at the seemingly innocuous note of congratulations sent by his one-time mentor. This leads Frasier to a confrontation with Tewksbury, which results in a psychiatric session where Tewksbury helps him face the fact that he's used his career as a way to distance himself from people.
And once it's gone, all you'll have left is that frightened 8-year-old boy.
The character makes another appearance later that same season, when Frasier experiences the surprise of discovering that Tewksbury is dating his producer, Roz. Appearing on Frasier was a brief pit stop for Auberjonois, who died in 2019 at age 79. For sci-fi fans, the actor will remain best known for playing Odo, the shape-shifting head of security on Star Trek Deep Space Nine. Other significant roles include playing Father Mulcahy in director Robert Altman's MASH, and Chief of Staff Clayton Endicott III on the sitcom Benson. Actress Alex Playton was seen in the 6th season of Frasier, playing the recurring role of Martin's then-girlfriend, Bonnie.
Martin invited me. He was real cute about it. He checked with all the waitresses to find out if I was single.
Oh.
Prior to her 2011 death at age 63, one of Playton's most memorable roles was in an Alka-Seltzer commercial, playing a newlywed bride whose first home-cooked meal has given her husband some serious indigestion. As a stage actor in New York City, one of Playton's earliest roles was in the off-Broadway production of National Lampoon's Lemmings, a nihilistic Woodstock satire in which she co-starred with future Saturday Night Live stars John Belushi and Chevy Chase. Playton also put her distinctive high voice to good use as a voice actor for cartoons such as Doug and My Little Pony. In addition to Frasier, Playton's many television credits included The Cosby Mysteries, Law & Order, and Third Watch. Trained at London's prestigious Royal Academy of Dramatic Art, William Morgan Shepherd was an actor's actor whose career spanned 6 decades before his 2019 death at age 86. He made a guest appearance in the episode The Club, where Niles and Frasier attempt to sabotage the other's chances of being accepted into Seattle's prestigious Empire Club. Shepherd played Mr. Drake, the club's president.
This leather's as soft as a baby's bottom. Yes, on family night, we bring the babies in and do a blindfold comparison test.
It's Shepherd's association with the Star Trek franchise, however, for which he's best remembered. He played the recurring role of Dr. Ira Graves in Star Trek The Next Generation, and also appeared in an episode of Voyager. On the big screen, he appeared in Star Trek VI, The Undiscovered Country, and in 2009's Star Trek reboot movie. Of the many, many guest stars to drop by Frasier during the course of the show's 11-season run, arguably one of the most legendary was Donald O'Connor, a song and dance man of the highest order. O'Connor's storied roster of screen credits include the classic Hollywood musical Singing in the Rain and umpteen Francis the Talking Mule movies. Prior to his 2003 death at age 78, one of O'Connor's final roles was playing wealthy timber baron Harlow Safford in the Crane vs. Crane episode of Frasier.
So this is sort of fun, isn't it?
Not on you.
Niles is hired as an expert witness by Safford's son in his effort to have his father legally declared senile. Frasier, however, gets to know the elder Safford and comes to believe his mental faculties are intact. As a result, Frasier agrees to testify against his brother in the trial. The same year he appeared on Frasier, O'Connor also appeared in a guest spot on The Nanny. O'Connor's final screen role was in the 1997 cruise ship comedy Out to Sea, which reteamed the Odd Couple stars Jack Lemmon and Walter Matthau. Character actor Robert Prosky landed his big break when he was cast alongside James Caan in the atmospheric 1981 thriller Thief. That ultimately led to a role in an iconic TV hit when he joined Hill Street Blues as Sergeant Stan Yablonsky, who took over the veteran cop Sergeant Phil Esterhaus after the actor who portrayed him, Michael Conrad, died of cancer in 1983. Prosky, who died in 2008 at age 77, made a memorable appearance on Frasier. In his guest spot, Prosky played famously reclusive author T.H. Houghton, loosely based on A Catcher in the Rye writer J.D. Salinger. He befriends Martin at a sports bar and winds up scrapping his latest manuscript due to a critique from Niles and Frasier.
You're absolutely right.
This whole book is crap.
Other Prosky credits of note include big screen roles in Last Action Hero, The Natural, Broadcast News, Gremlins 2, and Mrs. Doubtfire. David Ogden Stiers was a familiar face to television viewers of the 1970s and 1980s for his portrayal of snobbish Major Charles Emerson Winchester III on MASH. More than a decade after that series wrapped, Stiers made a guest starring appearance on Frasier. In Stiers' 2003 episode, titled Fathers and Sons, he plays Leland Barton, the former research assistant to Hester Crane, later mother of Niles and Frasier. After spending some time with Leland, Martin notices some marked similarities between Leland's characteristics and those of her sons, leading him to question whether Leland is their real father and not him. Prior to Stiers' 2018 death from bladder cancer at age 75, he had amassed a staggering array of screen credits. In addition to his MASH role, these included voice roles in several of Disney's animated films, appearing in Beauty and the Beast's Pocahontas, The Hunchback of Notre Dame, and Lilo and Stitch. Stiers also had recurring roles in Stargate Atlantis and the sitcom Two Guys, a Girl, and a Pizza Place. John Glenn was the third American in history to venture off the planet into outer space, and the first U.S. astronaut to orbit the Earth. Later serving for 4 terms as United States Senator, Glenn was also a Frasier guest star. The NASA icon played himself in a 2001 episode, Docudrama, which featured Roz getting the go-ahead from management to produce a radio documentary about space travel. The initial plan is for Frasier to narrate, until he exits the project when Roz discards all the ideas he shoots at her while staying firm with her vision of the project.
You know, I thought we might intercut between the Russian and American programs and build up the tension of the space race.
I don't think so.
She ultimately brings Glenn on board as a replacement narrator, which irks Frasier to no end.
Some people ask, were you alone out there?
Frasier isn't just Glenn's most memorable TV guest starring role, it's his only one. His only other screen credits were providing his voice to the 2003 TV documentary Kitty Hawk, The Wright Brothers' Journey of Invention, and voicing former U.S. President Rutherford B. Hayes in the 2003 documentary The American President. Occasionally, viewers met Martin Crane's former colleagues from his years as a Seattle police officer. Bill Gratton played one such pal, Leo, who initially appeared in the second season, featured in the episode Dukes We Hardly Knew Ya. Gratton returned as Leo later that season in the episode Retirement is Murder, then again in the 5th season's Where Every Bloke Knows Your Name. It wouldn't be surprising if Gratton's face seems familiar to anyone who watched a lot of television in the 1980s and 90s. Among his many screen credits are such TV series as Seinfeld and ER. Interestingly enough, prior to Frasier, Gratton also appeared in a 1991 episode of Cheers, from which Frasier spun off, playing a justice of the peace. Sadly, Gratton died in 2011 at age 71, with his obituary noting that he'd be remembered for, quote, his sense of humor, both whimsical and pointed, his love of military history, and his lifelong dedication to the art and craft of acting.
Joseph Bologna was featured in 2 episodes of Married with Children, and actually enjoyed a successful career both on TV and in movies. His first role was in Lovers and Other Strangers, a play that he co-wrote and co-starred in with his wife, Renee Taylor. Bologna played Al Bundy's construction worker friend, Charlie Verducci, on Married. His character was joined by his son Vinny, who was played by a young Matt LeBlanc. They both appeared in an episode titled Top of the Heap, which led to a short-lived spin-off series by the same name. Bologna passed away in 2017 after fighting pancreatic cancer for 3 years. Taylor confirmed his death to the media, noting that her husband had a, quote, beautiful life and a beautiful death, and that he passed away only 2 days after the pair celebrated their 52nd anniversary. Taylor and Bologna wrote 22 plays together and worked together on quite a few programs. Kathleen Freeman had a curious role in the show. As the voice of Ma Wanker, Peg Bundy's mother, she never actually appeared on the show.
Margaret, open the door! It's your mother, and I'm hungry!
Freeman passed away in August 2001 following a battle with lung cancer. Freeman's career kicked off in 1948 with The Naked City, and she went on to have roles in hundreds of movies and TV shows. She also directed, composed, and acted for Los Angeles' The Circle and Players Ring Theater, and was the founder of the SAG-AFTRA Conservatory. Freeman once told the conservatory's publication, The Focus, that she was only interested in doing the best work possible, saying, "I'm not interested in ever showing up without doing my best. I've been trained. You've got to be great every time, not once." She also once explained to the Associated Press that making people laugh is her life's work, saying, "This will sound very corny, and I'm sorry, but I have always had the sense I was put here to do this. I am somebody who is around to help the world laugh. I have always had that sense." Corny, but absolutely true. Married with Children featured a running gag. Different women would come and go from Al Bundy's shoe shop. The women all have one thing in common. They consistently make Al Bundy's life more complicated. Bellamy played one of these women on the show, but actually also appeared on the show as Kathleen Morgan, who made a pass at Joseph Bologna's Charlie Verducci, and had a third appearance as Shirley, who was the leader of an organization called Crimes Against Obesity. Bellamy's real life intersected with her career later in her life. The treatment she received for cancer interacted with her diabetes and caused her to go blind. She won the role of Principal Cecilia Show on the WB's Popular, who was also blind, and maintained a positive mindset through it all. Bellamy passed away in June 2001. Tim Conway starred as Peg Bundy's alcoholic father, Ephraim Wanker, in a handful of episodes of Married. Conway also starred on The Carol Burnett Show, and many members of the cast remembered the star fondly when he passed away in May 2019 at the age of 85. Carol Burnett released a statement following news of Conway's passing. "I'm heartbroken. He was one in a million, not only as a brilliant comedian, but as a loving human being. I cherish the times we had together, both on the screen and off. He'll be in my heart forever." In 2012, Burnett was asked in an interview if the team on her show ever worried about running out of material, but she said they never had to, thanks to Conway. "No, because we could always count on Tim to go over, so there was always enough show. In fact, sometimes, because he would get on a roll and do stuff we had never seen before, so maybe a 4-minute sketch would turn into a 10-minute sketch, thanks to Conway, and we could then bank another sketch that we were going to do that week for another week." The story goes that the show was inspired by comedians Roseanne Barr and Sam Kinison, who were each told they could play Peg and Al Bundy if they chose to do so. While both opted out, Kinison did eventually appear on the show's 1989 Christmas special, titled It's a Bundyful Life. Kinison played an angel in the holiday episode, which was inspired by It's a Wonderful Life. In the episode, Al Bundy sees what life would be like for his family if he wasn't alive. Kinison is sent to make sure Bundy doesn't kill himself, even though he wasn't planning to.
Usually on Christmas, I'd be over Moses' house. I'd be out by the pool. Wait for the new guy to jump off the board, and then mow parts of the water.
Sadly, Kinison passed away at the age of 38 in April 1992. He was killed in a head-on collision near Needles, California, and his wife was injured in the same accident. The New York Times reported, on Friday night, he was on his way to perform at the Riverside Resort Hotel and Casino in Laughlin, Nevada, when his sports car collided with a pickup truck on U.S. Highway 95, about 200 miles east of Los Angeles. His wife, Malika, whom he married only last Sunday, was injured in the crash and was taken to Needles Desert Community Hospital in serious condition. Actress Janet Carroll was a living legend, with Variety noting that her role as Tom Cruise's mother in Risky Business propelled her to superstardom. Her IMDb page lists a whopping 104 acting credits overall, and Carroll appeared on Married with Children from 1994 to 1997 as Gary, the owner of shoe company Gary's Shoes, where Al worked. Considering her male-sounding name, the show played with the idea that Gary was a man to frequently hilarious ends. But once Carroll actually showed up, it was clear nobody else could possibly be the boss. Carroll died at the age of 71 after a long battle with an unnamed illness. Born in Chicago, she began her acting career immediately after finishing high school, quickly graduating from the stage to the screen after moving to California. Among other productions, she appeared in Lady Windermere's Fan alongside Lynn Redgrave and John Lithgow. You'd be hard-pressed to find a character name better than Spare Tire Dixon, but in reality, the actor who portrayed him boasted an even cooler moniker, Bubba Smith. Funny enough, although he played a wannabe football star who frequently sparred with high school rival Al in Married with Children, Smith was actually a former NFL player off-screen. As the New York Times noted, he passed away in 2011 after suffering with chronic traumatic encephalopathy, the degenerative brain disease linked to repeated head trauma. Smith enjoyed a lucrative second career as an actor, having said goodbye to football after the 1976 season. He was most well known for playing Moses Hightower in the Police Academy movies, but Spare Tire was just as beloved a character. In keeping with the former athlete's lovable reputation, on and off the field, the Los Angeles Times detailed that he actually parlayed a commercial job with beer brand Miller Lite into a successful acting career, with appearances in TV series including Blue Thunder and Good Times, alongside Married with Children. Alan Thicke actually played 2 characters on Married with Children. In his first appearance, the legendary Canadian portrayed Henry, who dated Kelly.
I'm Henry. My other car is a yacht.
He then later played Bruce, who dated Peggy. TMZ confirmed the Growing Pains star had died suddenly in 2016, reportedly of a heart attack while in the middle of a hockey game with son Carter. Thicke's elder son, Robin, the pop star behind Blurred Lines, told the Los Angeles Times some of his father's last words were, quote, "A compliment to his son on a nice shot." Looking back on his father's final moments, Robin explained, "The good thing was that he was beloved and he had closure. I saw him a few days ago and told him how much I loved and respected him." Thicke's career was hugely impressive, with roles in the likes of The Love Boat and The Bold and the Beautiful, giving way to funny cameos on modern fare such as How I Met Your Mother. In one of his final interviews with The Hollywood Reporter, the beloved actor opined, "There's not much that I haven't done in my life, but there's lots of things that I'd like to do better." Kevin Curran was a veteran comedy star, but he wasn't known predominantly as an actor. In fact, Curran's sole on-screen role was in Married with Children. He mostly provided the voice of both the family dogs, first Buck, then Lucky, and only actually appeared as Buck's human self in Season 6's Psychic Avengers, no doubt making an impression. He was a writer and producer on Married with Children too, as well as a writer on Late Night with David Letterman, where he provided his talents to the show in different ways. As Variety noted in a 2016 article about his death, Curran was primarily known for the 15 years he spent writing on The Simpsons. He was 59 at the time of his death, which occurred following a lengthy illness. Curran was a Harvard graduate, and he actually met future Simpsons showrunner Al Jean while studying at the Ivy League institution, who said about Curran, "He was one of the funniest guys I ever met. He also had one of the sweetest, biggest hearts. He really was a terrific guy." Even if you don't know the name Jean Spiegel Howard, you definitely know one of her sons, prolific filmmaker Ron Howard. In 2006, ABC News reported on the sad death of the legendary actress, who counted roles in the likes of Apollo 13, Cocoon, and of course, Married with Children. Among her impressive slate, Spiegel Howard took a break from her theater career to raise sons Ron and Clint, transitioning to film and TV work once they were both grown. She was subsequently forced to retire early due to ill health and died as a result of complications from heart and respiratory illness at the age of 73. Reflecting on the success of Apollo 13 25 years after the film's release, director Ron admitted he initially didn't think his mother was old enough to play her role and was nervous to cast her for the important character, but told E.T., "I'm so happy my dad twisted my arm." The actress was just as memorable in Married with Children, portraying a handful of different characters over the years. Many performers are considered character actors, but when it comes to the prolific Steve Suskind, the moniker is particularly fitting. Over the years, Suskind made his mark on numerous hit shows, and naturally, Married with Children, in which the actor played Al's BFF Barney for 8 seasons. The Los Angeles Times confirmed his death at the age of 62 in 2005. Suskind was reportedly killed in a traffic collision when the limousine he was driving was hit by another car. Aside from his impressively varied on-screen work, Suskind was also a seasoned voiceover artist, lending his impressive pipes to the likes of Disney movies The Emperor's New Groove and Monsters, Inc., among others. Similar to Bubba Smith, the enigmatic Becky Mullen had a whole other life before appearing on Married with Children. TMZ Sports broke the news of the former professional wrestler's death in 2020. She died at the age of 55 after a long battle with cancer. Known mostly by her moniker, Sally the Farmer's Daughter, Mullen was an original member of the legendary Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling, which was the basis for the Netflix series Glow. As People noted, Mullen was able to parlay her success in the ring into an acting career, landing roles in Mad TV, Renegade, and even Van Halen's music video for Pound Cake. Her appearance as Yvonne to Pamela Anderson's Yvette in A Saucy Dream of Owls naturally made a significant impact on male fans of Married with Children.
The core family of Happy Days was anchored by Father Howard Cunningham. The down-to-earth, hard-working hardware store owner could always be relied on to keep his head in the midst of chaos. And though conservative Howard had little in common with cool motorcycle-riding Fonzie, he came to welcome him as a member of the family. Howard Cunningham was played by Tom Bosley, best known at the time as a Tony-winning Broadway star and a featured player in films such as Yours, Mine, and Ours. Following his successful run in Happy Days, he returned to the stage as another famous dad. In Beauty and the Beast, he starred as Belle's father, Maurice. The Chicago-born actor also found success in other TV series like Murder, She Wrote and The Father Dowling Mysteries, in which the Jewish actor played against type as a Catholic priest. Bosley died in 2010 from lung cancer. His former co-stars lovingly recalled the man they considered a member of their family. Ron Howard has said, "A great father and husband and a wonderful artist, Tom led by example and made us all laugh while he was doing it. My last conversations with Tom reflected the love of life and peace of mind that he always maintained throughout his full and rewarding life. I miss him already." Under the stage name Pat, Noriyuki Morita played Arnold Takahashi, the proprietor of Arnold's Drive-In.
I speak Japanese, Chinese, Korean, a little Hungarian.
Well, tell me something. What do you consider yourself?
Good looking.
The diner hangout was where Richie, Potsy, Ralph, and their friends and girlfriends would go for a milkshake and a heart-to-heart. Fonzie was also known to hold court in the men's room. Arnold was a constant presence, offering advice along with his burgers. Morita overcame several challenges early in life, including a childhood battle with spinal tuberculosis that left him immobilized in the hospital for years. By the time he was well enough to be released, World War II was underway, and distrust of Japanese Americans ran high. Morita and his family spent time in internment camps until the war ended. After working in data processing for many years, Morita decided to try his hand at acting and landed roles in movies and TV series such as Sanford & Son and MASH prior to joining Happy Days. The actor went on to even greater fame as the wise karate teacher Mr. Miyagi in the original 1984 The Karate Kid. The role earned him an Oscar nomination, but it also marked the peak of his career. Morita made appearances in various movies and TV shows, but the lack of representation of Asian actors in Hollywood limited his opportunities. Sadly, so did his alcoholism. The actor's struggles and eventual death from liver failure in 2005 was the subject of a documentary called More Than Miyagi: The Pat Morita Story. Child star Erin Moran played Joni Cunningham, Richie's wisecracking younger sister. Over the show's decade-long run, viewers watched as Joni grew up and became more prominent in the storylines. She eventually fell for Fonzie's cousin, Chachi Arcola, and the two got their own sitcom, Joni Loves Chachi. The spin-off saw the couple moving to Chicago to start a music career. It never found a following, however, and after 2 seasons, it was canceled. Moran and her co-star Scott Baio returned to Happy Days for its final season, and the series ended with the couple marrying and presumably going off to live happily ever after. Moran's off-screen life was less than fairy tale. Though she appeared on a handful of other TV shows after Happy Days ended, she suffered from crippling depression that kept her from getting steadier work. Financial woes led her and her second husband to move in with her mother in an Indiana trailer park, only to be thrown out after an alcohol-fueled fight. In April 2017, first responders answering a call found Moran dead. Shortly after, it was revealed that the actress had been suffering stage 4 throat cancer, which had left her unable to speak. It was a secret she shared only with close friends like her former co-star Anson Williams. Williams remembered his friend when he said, "Even though she's gone, she will always be on that TV making someone smile. She does leave a legacy of good feelings and light for anyone that watches her." Al Molinaro received a promotion of sorts during his Happy Days years. First appearing as a cook at Arnold's Drive-In during the show's 2nd season, Molinaro replaced Pat Morita as the diner's owner in season 4. As Al Del Vecchio, his hangdog expression and signature sigh endeared him to viewers. He married Chachi's mother, Luisa, later in the run, making him and Fonzie in-laws of a sort. Molinaro was already an established character actor when he joined the show. Among his most popular roles was as Murray the Cop in The Odd Couple, the 1970s TV version of the hit movie. He got the parts courtesy of his acting school classmate, Penny Marshall, who introduced him to her producer brother, Gary. The Wisconsin native appreciated being on a show set in Milwaukee and rejected critics who thought of Happy Days as a bubblegum show. He once said, "To the public in America, Happy Days was an important show, and I think it was, and I think it still is." Following the show's finale, Molinaro made various appearances in sitcoms and commercials, finally retiring from acting in the early 90s. He and Anson Williams launched a chain of Big Al's restaurants in the Midwest, but apart from that venture, the actor opted to live a quiet family life. He died in 2015 at age 96 from complications related to gallstones. Even faithful fans of Happy Days have to admit that not every episode was a winner. Sometimes the writers resorted to outrageous plots to retain audience interest, such as the infamous episode in which Fonzie soars on water skis over a certain dangerous sea creature. Even today, this blatant gimmickry in TV shows is known as jumping the shark. Still, one unlikely plot point turned out to be a blessing for a then unknown comedian. The episode My Favorite Orkin featured Robin Williams as a man from a distant planet who lands on Earth and unsuccessfully urges Richie Cunningham to come back to Ork with him. But when Richie tries to share the news with his family and friends, they dismiss it as nonsense. The ratings for the episode were so good that producers decided to create a vehicle just for Williams. The result was Mork and Mindy, a spin-off show that lasted 4 seasons and made Williams a household name. Williams went on to play many celebrated roles in films such as Good Will Hunting, Dead Poets Society, Mrs. Doubtfire, Jumanji, Night at the Museum, and the animated film Aladdin. Tragically, the actor was diagnosed in midlife with Parkinson's disease, which took a serious toll on both his mind and body. He died by suicide in April 2014 at age 63.
Pretty much anyone who has seen an episode of The Big Bang Theory knows that one of the most iconic characters never really appeared on screen. Howard Wolowitz's mother, Mrs. Wolowitz, was somewhat of an enigma. She had a very distinct voice and made Howard into somewhat of a mama's boy.
Where were you so late?
I was out with Bernadette!
I know what that means. I watched Dr. Phil.
Sadly, the actor behind Mrs. Wolowitz, Carol Ann Susie, had a tragic ending. According to The Hollywood Reporter, Susie died from cancer at the age of 62 in 2014, and her character, Mrs. Wolowitz, died peacefully in her sleep while vacationing in Florida. The show went on to pay homage to her when they introduced Howard and Bernadette's children, never showing them on camera until the series finale. Notably, as a baby, daughter Hallie had a cry that sounded a lot like Mrs. Wolowitz's screams. When a show features as many brilliant scientists as The Big Bang Theory does, it's only natural to assume that the characters would idolize and be massive fans of other brilliant scientists, such as Stephen Hawking. Hawking, best known for his book A Brief History of Time, truly changed the world of physics, despite his diagnosis at the age of 22 with motor neuron disease. And because Hawking was such an iconic, real-world scientist, his appearance on The Big Bang Theory was equally iconic. Hawking was part of 7 episodes of the sitcom. Creator Chuck Lorre told The Hollywood Reporter that Hawking was a true professional, saying, "All of Professor Hawking's dialogue was pre-programmed and triggered through a voice synthesizer. When we offered to do that, we were told he preferred to program and trigger his lines by himself. He wanted to act." Sadly, Hawking died in 2018 at the age of 76. Stan Lee, the mastermind behind such Marvel comic book characters as Spider-Man, Black Panther, Iron Man, Thor, Hulk, and more, was obviously beloved by the characters on The Big Bang Theory. After all, the scientists often spent much of their free time at their local comic book store. Lee appeared on the Season 3 episode, The Excelsior Acquisition, when Sheldon and Penny track him down after Sheldon isn't able to attend an autograph signing with the rest of the guys. It's obvious the characters were a bit obsessed with Lee, and who could blame them?
You know, you fanboys are unbelievable. Do you think you can just ring my doorbell anytime you want?
Sadly, Lee died in 2018 when he was 95, after a long life and a successful career in the comic book industry. To say that Lee's impact was unparalleled would be an understatement. Carrie Fisher was an icon in Hollywood, and in science fiction movies in particular, as she starred as Princess Leia in the Star Wars franchise. So it makes sense that she would appear as herself on The Big Bang Theory, bringing some pretty cool star power to the show. Fisher appeared in The Convention Conundrum, a Season 7 episode in which Sheldon hangs out with James Earl Jones. At one point, the two appear on her doorstep to ding-dong ditch her. Fisher then runs out of her house with a baseball bat ready to fight.
It's not funny anymore, James!
Sadly, Fisher died after going into cardiac arrest when she was 60 on December 27, 2016. To say that Sheldon Cooper was a huge Star Trek fan would be an understatement. Specifically, Sheldon related to and loved Spock, played by actor Leonard Nimoy.
In difficult moments like this, I often turn to a force greater than myself. Religion? Star Trek.
Spock would end up being an important figure in Sheldon's life later in the series, but his love towards the character and Nimoy in general was revealed early on. For instance, he was absolutely starstruck when Penny gifted him a napkin with Nimoy's autograph and DNA on it back in Season 2. Sheldon had such an affinity for Nimoy, especially for his portrayal of Spock in Star Trek, that he imagined speaking to Spock when he needed advice in a Season 5 episode, The Transporter Malfunction.
If I told you to jump off the bridge of the Enterprise, would you do it?
In 2015, Nimoy died when he was 83 from end-stage chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. It makes sense that many of the Big Bang Theory's guest stars and cast members would have very clear ties to very geeky things, but that wasn't always the case. In a Season 4 episode, Arrested Development star Jessica Walter played a wealthy university donor who makes a large donation to the science department because she's, well, hot for Leonard. Obviously, fans of Walter know that the actor is excellent at portraying a rich, seductive woman of a certain age, and that's exactly what she did on The Big Bang Theory. In 2021, Walter died in her sleep at the age of 80. By now, you've noticed that The Big Bang Theory landed plenty of great guest stars and recurring characters who were all perfect fits for the series. There really wasn't a cast member or guest star on the show who wasn't perfectly cast. And actor Adam West, who played the titular superhero in the 1960s TV series Batman, was no exception. His superhero past, of course, wasn't something that was lost on either fans or main characters when he appeared on The Big Bang Theory.
Batman finally came to your party. Happy birthday, Sherman.
West appeared on the Season 9 episode, The Celebration Experimentation, playing himself. Sheldon's friends invite him to Sheldon's birthday party after learning Sheldon had gotten his hopes up that Batman would appear at his 6th birthday party so many years ago. On his way to Sheldon's birthday party, West even pokes fun at his role in Batman when he says he thinks Michael Keaton was the best Batman. Unfortunately, West died as a result of leukemia in 2017 at the age of 88.
Matthew Perry famously played the lovable, wisecracking Chandler Bing on Friends.
You were supposed to be in there so I could see your thing!
Sorry, my thing was in there with me.
Before joining the legendary sitcom, he was a rising star who appeared in television shows like Sydney and Beverly Hills 90210. But Perry yearned for more, and through Friends, he achieved his lifelong dream of becoming famous. During and after the show, Perry dominated the industry, starring in several more successful films and television series. Despite having reached meteoric fame, Perry suffered behind the scenes. In his memoir, Friends, Lovers, and the Big Terrible Thing, the actor opened up about the untold truth of his life, including his addiction to opioids and alcohol, which nearly killed him. After getting sober, Perry aspired to be an anchor for those facing similar struggles. In April 2023, he told the Los Angeles Times how he'd like to be remembered as a guy who lived life, loved well, lived well, and helped people. The beloved Friends actor died at his Los Angeles home on October 28, 2023. He was 54. Fans and fellow entertainers shared an outflow of tributes and memories in his honor. On October 30th, his co-stars responded to his death and reflected on their real-life relationship with one of the most iconic friends of all time. They said in a shared statement to People, "We are all so utterly devastated by the loss of Matthew. We were more than just castmates. We are a family." James Michael Tyler played Gunther, the platinum blonde manager of Central Perk, and not-so-secret admirer of Rachel Green. He made 159 appearances on the show, cementing him as an essential figure in the Friends universe. Prior to slinging coffees at Central Perk, Tyler worked as an actual barista at the Bourgeois Pig in Hollywood, and he continued to do so for several years during his run on the sitcom. He told BuzzFeed in 2014, "I kept my day job, in other words, because I never knew if they were going to bring me back." Sadly, he died from prostate cancer on October 24, 2021, at the age of 59. Fans and colleagues alike paid tribute to the iconic Friends star. His manager, Tony Benson, announced, "The world knew him as Gunther, the 7th friend, but Michael's loved ones knew him as an actor, musician, cancer awareness advocate, and loving husband. Michael loved live music, cheering on his Clemson Tigers, and would often find himself in fun and unplanned adventures. If you met him once, you made a friend for life." Charlton Heston is one of the more famous guest stars to have appeared on Friends, and that's truly saying something, considering the number of venerated names that appeared on the hit series. The Hollywood veteran appeared as himself in the episode The One with Joey's Dirty Day. In the episode, Joey works on a film with Heston and gets caught in the actor's dressing room, where Heston gives him some acting advice.
No matter how badly you think you stink, you must never, ever bust into my dressing room and use my shower.
Heston was a Hollywood legend who needed no introduction when he appeared on Friends. Some of his iconic films include The 10 Commandments, Julius Caesar, and Planet of the Apes. Heston died in 2008 at the age of 84 of Alzheimer's disease. Friends fanatics will remember Fred Willard as Dean Lipson, the cheeky zoo administrator who almost tricks Ross into believing that his former pet monkey, Marcel, has died.
Well, he got sick, and then he got sicker, and then he got a little better, but then he died.
In real life, Willard was a formidable comedy actor who claimed his place at the top of the pop cultural zeitgeist. The legendary funny man was known for his appearances on Fernwood Tonight, A Mighty Wind, the Anchorman movies, and many more. In addition to his comedy chops, Willard was known for his warmth and enthusiasm, which earned him a gleaming reputation in the industry. Willard died of cardiac arrest on May 15, 2020, at the age of 86. Upon his death, fans and fellow entertainers honored his larger-than-life legacy with a wave of tributes. Willard's Anchorman co-star Christina Applegate shared her grief on X, formerly known as Twitter, writing, "Gutted. His immense talent and kindness will never be forgotten. We love you, Fred Willard. Thank you for the decades of laughter." In the episode The One That Could Have Been, the Friends gang imagines what things would have been like had their lives gone a bit differently. In this imagined reality, the carefree massage therapist Phoebe is a corporate hotshot working in the finance industry. Paul Gleason played Jack, her boss in the alternate reality, who confronts Phoebe after she turns up to work in spite of having been fired. Gleason didn't get a lot of screen time, so you may not remember him from Friends, but there are lots of films you've likely seen him in. Gleason's career spanned decades, with credits dating back to an uncredited role in the 1962 film Panic in Year Zero. By the time the actor appeared in the 2000 Friends episode, he was an established star who you may recognize from films like The Breakfast Club and Die Hard.
But what about the body that fell out the window? Well, who knows? It's probably some stockbroker got depressed.
He died in 2006 from mesothelioma. Friends fans will remember the episode The One with All the Poker, in which Ross and Monica's Aunt Iris teaches Monica, Rachel, and Phoebe how to play poker. The card shark Aunt Iris was played by Beverly Garland in a guest role, but TV viewers may also remember the actress from her extensive list of credits in shows like My Three Sons and Seventh Heaven, as well as several films, including Where the Red Fern Grows and Death Falls. Garland died in 2008 at the age of 82, 4 years after she ended her acting career with her final episode of Seventh Heaven. While we hear Phoebe talk about her grandmother, Frances, a lot on Friends, we only actually see her once, in the episode The One with Phoebe's Dad. In her sole appearance on the show, Frances answers some questions about Phoebe's roots. Audra Lindley played this important figure in Phoebe's life. Lindley may have only appeared in one episode of Friends, but she was far from a newcomer to the screen in that episode. Lindley's career dated back to a handful of uncredited roles in the 1940s, but most people remember her as Mrs. Roper on Three's Company. Lindley died at the age of 79. Ron Liebman played the role of Rachel Green's father, Dr. Leonard Green. Despite his brash and occasionally pompous behavior, Dr. Green was an unforgettable character, not to mention a doting father to Rachel. In real life, the man behind the cheeky cardiologist was a celebrated actor with an illustrious entertainment career. Liebman was already a star before making his mark on Friends. Having started his career in the 1960s, he was known for Kaz, Pacific Station, Slaughterhouse-5, and more. Liebman died on December 6, 2019, at the age of 82. The iconic television, film, and Broadway performer was honored by his colleagues, including fellow icon Sally Field, who wrote on social media, "So many of the best memories of my career have Ron Liebman in them. Thank you, Ron, for being my champion. Rest, my friend." One of the running jokes on Friends centers on Ross and his chaotic love life. The show opens with him in the midst of a divorce, and he proceeds to get married 2 more times on Friends. Enter Ron Glass, who played Ross's lawyer Russell in The One Where Ross Hugs Rachel and The One Where Joey Loses His Insurance. Even Russell is shocked when Ross gets married yet again and gives him advice on how to have his third marriage to Rachel annulled. Glass was a prolific actor with a long list of credits. Some notable roles include parts in shows such as Barney Miller and Firefly. Glass was also an accomplished voice actor, whose voice you may have heard in a number of shows, including Rugrats and The Proud Family.
Egats. Did you gargle with garlic juice this morning?
Glass died at the age of 71 in 2016. Mike Haggerty portrayed Mr. Trieger, the pesky superintendent of the Friends apartment building. He only appeared in 5 episodes of the series, but he gave us some truly unforgettable scenes, such as his iconic dance with Joey and the time he made Rachel cry.
Well, why don't you think of someone else for a change?
With his mighty star power, Haggerty brought irresistible charm and humor to the role of Mr. Trieger. After appearing on Friends, the actor continued his television reign with appearances in Shameless, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and more. In 2022, Haggerty starred in the HBO series Somebody Somewhere. Unfortunately, Haggerty's life was cut short in 2022. The New York Times reported that while being hospitalized for an illness, the actor suffered an adverse reaction to an antibiotic and died. The tragedy occurred on April 22, 2022, just 2 weeks before season 2 of Somebody Somewhere was set to begin filming. Grief-stricken fans and colleagues honored the late entertainer with an outpouring of tributes. Carolyn Strauss, an executive producer of Somebody Somewhere, told the New York Times, "His impact endures. He's left everybody with a gift, that gravity and humor and forthrightness that characterize him. We all carry it." Taylor Negron guest starred on Friends as Alessandro, the owner of a local Italian eatery. When Monica writes a scathing review of his restaurant, Alessandro comes to confront her, but hilariously ends up hiring her as his head chef. His single episode appearance was brief but memorable, thanks to the effortless sarcasm and humor that Negron brought to the role. Before appearing on the Friends roster, Negron was already well established in the entertainment world. He was known for his roles in Fast Times at Ridgemont High, Angels in the Outfield, The Last Boy Scout, and many more. Negron died of liver cancer cancer on January 10, 2015. He was memorialized by his fellow entertainers, including director Joey Soloway, who wrote, "He is one of the most beautiful, brilliant souls I have ever encountered. His words and his art will be in my heart forever." Jack Ong was only in one scene of Friends, but it was a noteworthy one. The actor played Andrew, a scientist who works alongside Ross at the museum. Ong had a few lines during a scene in The One with Phoebe's Uterus, in which Ross and Joey break down social barriers at work. At the time of Ong's appearance on Friends, he'd been acting for more than 2 decades, but hadn't landed many large roles. Most of his TV appearances, like his part on Friends, were guest spots on shows such as Love and War and Touched by an Angel. Ong stepped back from acting after that, but continued to lead a busy life before he died from a brain tumor in 2017 at the age of 76. Gretchen Weiler's Friends character, Mrs. Burkhart, shows Monica one of the downsides of running your own business in the episode The One with the Dirty Girl. Monica, with the help of Phoebe, caters a funeral for Mrs. Burkhart's late husband, but has trouble getting her payment from the widow. Phoebe eventually has to confront her to get the money owed. Weiler's impressive pipes can be heard in the episode. The Broadway veteran was in some pretty big productions on the Great White Way, including Guys and Dolls, Silk Stockings, Damn Yankees, Bye Bye Birdie, and Sly Fox. Weiler also had a long resume of film and television credits, including roles in Dallas, Santa Barbara, MacGyver, Who's the Boss, The Marrying Man, and Designing Women.
So I said to her, Mary, you're letting those Von Trapp brats upstage you. Oh. Kids and animals. Lethal.
She died of breast cancer at the age of 75. In the early seasons of Friends, the Budds have a grumpy older neighbor named Mr. Heckles. While Mr. Heckles dies on the show, the actor who played him, Larry Hankin, is still with us. Sadly, Danny Dayton, who played Mr. Heckles' attorney, Buddy Doyle, is not. Dayton appears as Doyle in a scene from The One Where Heckles Dies, in which he reveals that Mr. Heckles left all of his possessions to Rachel and Monica, aka the noisy girls who live in the apartment above mine. The 1995 appearance on Friends was one of Dayton's final acting parts, as he died of emphysema just a few years later in 1999 at the age of 75. Dayton had a long and successful career that included such notable credits as Guys and Dolls, Wonder Woman, and All in the Family. He was also an accomplished director who won 3 Clio Awards for his commercial work. Phoebe's free-spirited nature on Friends often makes her seem a bit out of touch with reality to the rest of the group.
You know that psychic I see?
Yeah?
Well, she told me that I'm going to die this week, so I'm kind of bummed about that.
One of the best examples of this is in the episode The One with the Lesbian Wedding, in which Phoebe believes she's carrying the spirit of a client who died while she was giving her a massage. Her friends think she's imagining things, but Phoebe is insistent and meets with the woman's widower, Mr. Adelman, to see if her client had any unresolved business left on Earth. Mr. Adelman was played by Phil Leeds, an actor who racked up over 100 credits throughout his career, starting with an appearance on the show Front Row Center in 1949. Leeds' impressive list of credits also includes roles in ER, Barney Miller, Night Court, Roseanne, Boy Meets World, Everybody Loves Raymond, and Ally McBeal. Leeds died of pneumonia in 1998 at the age of 82, just 2 years after his guest role on Friends. Buck Kartalian had a creepy but memorable turn on Friends as Joey's tailor, Frankie, in The One with Ross's New Girlfriend. In the episode, Joey sends Chandler to Frankie for a new suit, and Chandler is shocked when Frankie measures his inseam a little too thoroughly. Making the whole thing even creepier is that Joey reveals he's been going to Frankie since he was a kid, and that he thinks cupping is part of how the inseam is supposed to be measured. Kartalian had a long career dating back to the 1950s. His dozens of credits include roles in The Monster Squad, Here Comes the Brides, ER, Cool Hand Luke, The Flintstones in Viva Rock Vegas, Curb Your Enthusiasm, and How I Met Your Mother. Kartalian's final acting credit is in 2006's Cattle Call. After that, he seems to have retired from show business, but lived for several more years. Kartalian lived to be 93, dying of natural causes in 2016. Considering that Alice Drummond's Friends character is on her deathbed when we see her on the show, many people may not realize that the acting veteran was on the sitcom at all. Drummond appeared as Ross and Monica's grandmother in The One Where Nana Dies Twice, in which Ross and Monica pay their respects to their deceased Nana. Drummond doesn't even appear in the episode's credits for the non-speaking role. Drummond may not have shown off her acting chops in her minor role on Friends, but she did flex them throughout her long career. Drummond's many acting credits include roles in Dark Shadows, Where the Heart Is, Another World, Ghostbusters, Night Court, Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, To Wong Fu, Thanks for Everything, Julie Newmar, Pieces of April, The Honeymooners, and Furry Vengeance. Playbill noted that she was also an accomplished stage actress who was nominated for a Tony for her role in the Broadway play The Chinese and Dr. Fish. Drummond retired from acting in 2011 and died in 2016 at the age of 88. In case you forgot, Friends character Joey Tribbiani is Italian-American and proud of it. One scene that really plays up his heritage is in the episode The One Where Chandler Can't Remember Which Sister, in which Joey and Chandler have dinner with Joey's family. At the dinner table, Chandler tries to figure out which of Joey's many sisters is Mary Angela. Chandler's attempts are thwarted by Joey's Nana, who dominates the dinner table conversation with talk of her tiramisu. Joey's Nana was played by Penny Santon. She didn't get much screen time, but her role did show where Joey's love of food comes from. The small role was also one of Santon's last, as she only has 2 more credits on her resume after her Friends appearance. The veteran actor had a long career dating back to the 1950s that included roles in iconic shows like Zorro, Bonanza, and Laverne and Shirley. She also appeared in some notable films, including Funny Girl and West Side Story. She died in 1999 at the age of 82. If you don't remember Heathcote Williams' appearance on Friends, you're forgiven. He only appeared briefly after all, but his character sets a lot in motion. Williams played a wedding guest at The One with Ross's Wedding Part 2 and kicks off the romance between Monica and Chandler when he drunkenly mistakes Monica for Ross's mother.
My God, you must have been a teenager when you had him.
Chandler assures Monica that she's young and beautiful and, well, Friends fans know what happens next. They end up in bed together and eventually get married and start a family. Williams appeared in many films and shows over his career, including The Tempest, The Odyssey, The Legend of 1900, Lover's Prayer, and Dinotopia. However, acting wasn't his only claim to fame. The Friends actor was also a celebrated writer whose work included plays, pamphlets, and poems. Among his many other accomplishments were fire eating, discovering a species of wasp, and helping found the newspaper Suck. He died at the age of 75.